Hey guys, Simiu here. So welcome back to Simiu and Jerry, and allow me to introduce you to Sheldon Cooper. So this is Sheldon Cooper. He's a West Highland White Terrier. He's our dog. We've had him for about a year and a half. He's actually a year and a half because when we adopted him, he was 6 weeks old. So today I'm going to do a video about what he eats and the kind of stuff that we feed him. So guys, thank you so much for the support. I hope this video is going to be entertaining and educative for people who have dogs. So sit back with me. First thing I'm going to begin with is meat. This is Sheldon's favorite and every other dog's. So when I'm going to buy meat for my family from our local slaughterhouse, I normally also buy some for Sheldon. This is bony meat. So when I get this meat home, I normally boil it well, and then before I give him the meat, I normally pour the soup for him in his plate. So I normally let this soup get warm, not very cold and not very hot. Please make sure your dog does not have access to very hot food, especially very hot food. The benefits of soup is, apart from having better nutrients for the dog, like protein and iron, soup also hydrates your dog. Okay? So while the soup is getting cold, I normally go back to the kitchen and then I now repack the remaining meat for Sheldon. So I normally do about 6 or 8 packs. 8 packs for 1 month. It means every week he has 2 days where he's just eating meat. So like if he does eat meat on a Monday, I'll again give him meat on a Thursday. Of course, when me and Anjeri are eating meat any other day apart from his meat days, of course we normally throw in 1 or 2. So after the soup has gotten a little warm, nicely warm, so that's when you normally call him to come and drink it. So he does love it. Of course, it has the meaty smell. So yeah, when the soup is warm, I normally now call him for him to now drink. I repeat this again. Do not allow your dog to have access to very hot food, not just soup, very hot food. They normally develop ulcers on their throats and sometimes on their intestines, and this could actually kill your dog. Always make sure the food that you're giving your dog is warm enough. So after he's done with the soup, I normally call him. Come, wait. Come, Cooper. So as you can see, I normally do a little discipline retraining. So this means I have already pre-trained him. Once I have given you food, don't run for this food. Don't rush, don't back. Just relax, look at me, trust me, I am going to let you eat. So this is part of the discipline training, which I'll also do videos to show you how I managed to train him. So when I put food for him, I normally call him, tell him to sit, tell him to wait, and he could sometimes even wait for 10 minutes. So the best part is when he responds to your commands you normally reward. Like when I have given him meat and I tell him to sit and wait, if he obeys immediately, it means his wait period is shorter. Discipline training is very important. The dog is supposed to know you as the owner is the alpha. So the first thing before you feed your dog, you're supposed to make him wait and make him know You're the one giving him this food. So you're not supposed to just be putting food and let him get too excited about this. Food is the first thing that trains your dog about discipline and patience. So the second food, this is wet dog food. I normally buy this Fido or some other dog food called Top Dog. Yeah. I'd like to clarify something. I have not been paid to market these companies. I'm just sharing what I normally use, what works for me and my dog. So this is a mixture of bones that have been crushed, fish bones that have been crushed also, maize meal, and wheat flour. Okay, so I normally boil water, and then once the water is boiled, then I now take this dry raw food. This is raw food, and then I now keep adding, and then I keep mixing, keep adding, and then you keep mixing until it becomes a little hard, not so hard, not so soft. And then you now let it cool. I insist, never give your dog hot food. Okay, so what you normally do is I normally cook for a week's worth of food for Sheldon. Like this, these are about 3 portions, what you're seeing. So if I give him wet food today, tomorrow I'll give him dry food, the next day I'll give him meat, and then the next the next day probably he'll eat what we eat. So when I say this is a week's worth, I don't want you to think, oh my god, you're underfeeding your dog. No, it is because I change what he eats, okay? And the dog only eats once. So if I give him this portion in the morning, he'll just have enough water. What Sheldon does is he normally eats and then spares some for later, and then spares some for later, and sometimes he doesn't even finish. But I normally give him food once. Whether he will finish it once or he doesn't finish it, he has to have uh, water with him always, and just that one portion. And just like the procedure before, when I normally put the food, I normally tell him to wait first before I now give him the command to eat his food. This is a critical part of discipline training. This dog also understands that you're the pack leader, you're the alpha, so he takes commands from you. Once you tame his bad behavior with relation to food, you will be able to control other things, like when you're going for a walk, his aggression, things like that. Okay, so the third type of food that I normally prepare for Sheldon is this dry food. So this is lamb, rice, dog pellets from this company called King. So this is dry food that's a mixture of bone meal, maize meal, lamb, and fortified fats, yes, which are specifically specified for the dog. So I normally give him this dry food once or twice a week. As you can see, I have to also let him wait first before I tell him to eat. Sheldon has this behavior. When I normally give him dog pellets, he has to carry it, take it to the sitting room, eat it piece by piece. This is one behavior I've really tried working on, to be able to let him know you can safely eat on your plate. But once I normally give him this, he has to carry to go and eat it from the carpet. The dog breeder who I've done a story about, the guy who helped us adapt Sheldon, told us this dry food makes the dog's hair more fluffier, more shinier, and easy to maintain, easy to brush through. So this is why we normally also do 2 or 3 times, but mostly 2 times, because Sheldon loves this dry food, but not so much. Okay, so this is one food that he normally eats about 4 or 5 times that day. So he'll have a portion in the morning, have a portion in the evening, have a portion probably at night. So the other type of food that we normally give our dog is this before cooked pet food. We normally call it the dog sausage because it kind of looks like a sausage. So what I normally do is this whole sausage, I normally cut it into portions like the ones I'm trying to show. So the whole thing has about 6 different portions. So that's the first, that's the other one, that's the other one, like that. So 6 portions. One portion is normally like a plate full. Okay. So once I cut this cooked pet food, this is cooked, by the way. It's a combination of liver, kidney, and blood and other meat from, I think it's beef. So it is, I normally just crush it with my hands, as you can see. So I normally crush it into small pieces. This enables Sheldon to eat from his plate. As I've said, Sheldon does not like eating foods that he can carry to the carpet to eat from the carpet. So what I normally do is I cut it into small pieces and force him to be able to eat from the plate. So this is actually also very good. It has it is a combination of many animal parts, and one thing about this is Sheldon loves this. As you can see, what I had already said, if he complies so fast, you tell him to wait, you tell him to sit, and he does comply and sit. I normally let him now eat. But there are days when you tell him to sit or wait and he still wants to be jumpy. So I normally place the food over there and tell him to wait. He'll have to wait for as long as I want him to wait. This makes as I've said, the dog know you're the provider and know that he is still going to feed me. So I need to be patient and I need to understand his command and do what he's saying. Okay, so this type of meal, Sheldon mostly eats about a half in the morning, and then somewhere during the midday he comes to finish now the remaining part. Okay. Another thing with our dog, there are days that we normally do probably rice and meat, or ugali and meat, or matumbo or fish or chicken. Those days I normally don't give him his food. So I'll just take part of the rice and some soup and some of the meat, especially those ones with bones, and then I normally give him. So that's another meal for him. And Sheldon loves fruits. I took a small video of him eating this mango. Sheldon does love watermelons. Sheldon also loves bananas, but the overripe ones. I think it's because they're somehow sweet. I will do a video about the things that you're not supposed to feed your dogs, the things that your dogs might be eating right now that they are slowly poisoning your dogs, and I'll also do a video of the things that you should never let your dogs eat, things that if they do eat would kill your dog. So that's Sheldon after eating, when I normally get him out to go and play a little bit. So guys, thank you so much for the support. Until next time.